We're going through an explosive lower body training session. We're going to be utilizing some concepts called contrast training and dynamic effort training. And this specific workout is coming straight out of our rugby performance program and our strength and power phase of training. And I just did an entire split breakdown. So if you want to watch that video after this, you can go check that out on my channel. So the first thing we're getting into is trying to achieve some post-activation potentiation with a very high force output movement, which is going to be our quarter squat overcoming isometrics. So we're developing a lot of joint specific strength, and isometrics, and specifically overcoming isometrics, you can produce the most amount of total force compared to a normal lift. So that is why we're using it. And then we're pairing it with a similar plyometric movement and similar depths and force orientation. So you can see we're doing some hurdle jumps, or in my case, I'm jumping over boxes. I'm also showing a couple of variations that you can do: a hurdle jump to landing on a box, to drop in jumps, and then over to a hurdle. So you can use any of these type of variations. They're all going to work well. So think high force and then quick ground contact and quick force production for the contrast set. Next thing we're getting into is just straight traditional power training with our power clean. So with this, I'm working up from 5 sets of 3, working up to about 85%. I believe this is about 275 on the bar. Olympic lifts are great. I know they can be very challenging to start to learn and achieve, but they do provide a great stimulus on the body for overall power output, which translates very well for any athlete in any sport that requires some explosiveness and power development. Now you're going to see not the greatest set for me, okay? So you can see my facial expressions. And I think a lot of athletes beat themselves up, if they don't have perfect technique, which you should try to achieve. But the intention in a training session is what matters, right? Trying to rip the bar up, trying to be as fast, trying to be as powerful as possible. So don't let that bring you down. If you're going to go and use some heavier weights, just make sure that you get a lot of your technical work in maybe before or after this to help improve some of that aspect of your overall power clean. Okay, so feet go out wide a little bit, not the greatest set, but still got a good stimulus of driving through the floor and pulling the bar up as high as I can. Now we're going to get into our dynamic effort contrast set. So dynamic effort means we're going to use around 50, 60, potentially up to 75% load on the bar, but we're going to add bands or chains to achieve something called accommodating resistance. So the accommodating resistance means the tension or the load gets heavier or harder as you get in better leverage position. And this really forces the athletes to start to accelerate through the entire movement. Now we're pairing that with a band-assisted vertical jump. So think heavy power-based movement, driving through, and then we're taking it into an overspeed type training because I'm really trying to work the central nervous system and really trying to teach my body how to fire very quickly and produce force very quickly. So typically with contrast training, you're just going to do a normal load. You don't need to do the dynamic effort. But what I've found with myself and a lot of our stronger athletes who maybe just aren't the fastest or not very elastic in nature, this tends to help them feel how fast to move, how to produce force, which is a very beneficial thing for the bigger, stronger athletes that struggle with that, because it allows them to focus on moving and being fast through the entire movement versus having a slow movement into a power-based movement. So I think there's a little bit more speed and acceleration to it to help prime the athlete to then exhibit those qualities. Now we're moving into our dynamic effort with our horizontal. So we had our vertical with our squat. Now we're trying to work the posterior chain a little bit with our banded RDL and then into banded broad jumps. So the bar is moving vertically on a banded RDL, but the hips are coming from front to back, just like in the broad jump as well, which is why we're pairing those together. So with the banded broad jumps, really all you're trying to do is jump out as far as you possibly can, drive the hips through very, very quickly. Okay, so you can work up to heavier loads, just make sure that the bar speed is staying there and it's not a kind of a grind. With dynamic effort stuff, we never want to have very grindy, slow reps. We want to make sure that there is some bar speed happening. Now with these banded broad jumps, I'm trying to get out as far as I can. You can see there's two little lines that I'm trying to jump to on the floor. That's about 8 feet apart. But I was noticing, I took a little rest there because I was noticing I wasn't quite jumping as far. I probably should have took a little bit more rest. And then for fun, I wanted to just see if I could achieve the 8-foot mark while doing just a normal broad jump, which I was able to right there. And then the last thing, to work a little bit more acceleration, is we're doing some sled sprints at a 50% velocity decrement. 50% velocity decrement maximizes the speed and force side of things, making you produce more power with each and every step. So if you like this video and you want to see the entire workout split, go check that out. And if you're an athlete trying to improve your performance, check out the Peak Performance program. And as always, train hard. Coach Nick out.